First, hair. Tostas. Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. It's Megan here, and we are here for Bookmas Day 7. And today we are going over Wicked. Actually, the next 2 days are pretty heavily Wicked themed. I just saw it in theaters twice. I love it so much. It's my favorite musical. I actually got to see it for the first time in 2021, I believe it was. And I cried the entire time. I've loved this soundtrack. For Good was my high school senior year song. I think I discovered Wicked in freshman year of high school. I was in show choir, and one of the girls in show choir got asked to do a solo, and she chose Defying Gravity. And that was the moment I discovered Wicked, and I have loved it ever since. And the interest only grew. Musical theater is a huge part of my life. I've loved theater for as long as I can remember. It's actually what I went to college for, is theater. I'm currently in theater, so I really love Wicked, and getting to see it come to life on screen has been phenomenal. I've seen it twice already. I've cried both times, and I do intend to see it again in theaters. So today's video is, if you saw my If You Like Fourth Wing, Try These Books video, it's going to be very similar to that. So I have 5 different categories here, 2 books per category of book recommendations for If You Like Wicked, Try These Books. Kicking us off, I actually lied. I have 3 books for this category. So if you like Wicked, because it's a musical, here are some books I recommend you try. First up, we have The Love Curse of Melody McIntyre by Robin Talley. This is, ooh, it's very fitting for Glinda here. This is following a theater romance, specifically between the stage manager and the lead actress. And it was so fun. It actually gets pretty detailed into the back end of things and how stage managers operate. When I was in school, focused more so on the backside of theater to get the overarching, well-rounded experience. I didn't want just performance. I wanted to know how everything operated. So this is pretty canon, for lack of a better term, to what it's like to be a stage manager. I loved it so much. It's really adorable. It's just a YA contemporary romance. Next up, we have 2 adult romances. First, we have Well Met by Jen DeLuca. I feel like theater kids are also Renaissance Fair kids, and this is an adult romance centered around a Renaissance Fair, and we are following 2 people. One who kind of gets pulled into the Renaissance Fair against her will by her niece. She promises to be her niece's chaperone, and her niece really wants to be part of the theatrical side of the fair, but she has to have a chaperone, so she goes, and she has to fake date her rival, who just so happens to be the head of the fair, the organizer of the fair. So it's like an enemies to lovers fake dating, but the fake dating isn't between them as people, it's them as their Renaissance Fair characters. So they don't like each other in real life, but they have to fake date as the Renaissance characters. It's so cute, so fun. I really enjoy this one. And then we have For the Love of the Bard, which takes place on this island that is obsessed with Shakespeare. They have a Shakespeare festival every summer, and we are following our main character, who is a literary author or agent or somehow in the book world, and she's trying to, I think she's an author. I think she's trying to write her next novel, if I remember correctly. It's a second chance romance, and she ends up getting looped into being the director for one of the plays, and she has to work with her old love because he is a carpenter, or somehow gets involved in building the set. So it's this beautiful second chance romance, and I love it so much. Alright, my next category, I was cracking up. I was scrolling on Instagram one day and I saw this trope and I was like, this is perfect for Wicked. Okay, it's Cook's Book Nook on Instagram, Cooks with a K. And it's school kids solving world problems. I'm sure somebody else has come up with that trope before, but I thought it was hilarious. They also said this, but I wholeheartedly agree, and that is Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. This is one of my all-time favorite books. It's a Dragon Academy for those of you who have never heard of Fourth Wing. I feel like everyone has, but for those of you that haven't, it's a Dragon Academy enemies to lovers. Absolutely phenomenal story. And then it wouldn't be a Mythical Megan video if I didn't somehow include Nikki Palpretto in a book recommendation. This one is The Last Hope School for Magical Delinquents, and this one is a middle grade novel. A young girl named Ven who has discovered her powers and basically is just kind of a rebel and doesn't control things easily, doesn't follow authority well, and she's been expelled from so many places. Her parents kicked her out, and her last hope is this school for magical delinquents. And because this is her last hope, she's trying to fit in and be good and follow the rules, and all her classmates and even the teachers are like, no, do what you want, like learn your powers, we encourage rebellion. And then something happens that causes the whole school, or rather the students, to band together to try to save the school. So this is a really cute middle grade novel. Highly recommend. Stay tuned for my reading vlog on this coming your way. If you liked Wicked because you like witches, then these are two books I would recommend. First up, we have Truth Witch by Susan Dennard. We are following two witches on the run trying to hide the fact that they are witches, also kind of in the vein of Wicked. But the fun part about this series is it's witches with magical abilities that you don't typically see. So we have a Truth Witch who has the ability to discern truth from lies, and then we also have a Thread Witch, which is a witch that can like see the threads between people and how they bind together, and it's really, really cool. We also have Sight Witch, which is basically a witch that can see the future, and then also Blood Witch, which is a witch with the ability to control blood, and Wind Witch with wind. So just a unique set of abilities in a unique world. I really enjoyed this one. Then we also have Circe by Madeline Miller. This is a Greek mythology, a deep digging, I guess you could say, into the backstory of Circe and really her origins and how she came to be. I just think it does a really good job of putting us in Circe's shoes and explaining why she did the things she did, and it's also a really unique witch story. If you like Wicked because you like retellings or villain origin stories, I have two recommendations for you. The first is Little Thieves. This is a retelling of Goose Girl. If you're unfamiliar with the story of Goose Girl, it follows two girls, one who is a princess and another who is just kind of a pauper or handmaiden, whatever you want to call it, and she takes the face of the princess, and then the princess is removed to be the servant or the Goose Girl. Typically in the story we are following the heroine, or aka the princess, but in Little Thieves, for this retelling of Goose Girl, we are following the villain, or the girl who took the face and why she did it, and I thought this one was incredible. And we also have Malice by Heather Walter. This is a dark retelling of Sleeping Beauty, following Maleficent specifically and her origins, and it also has a little bit of like villain heroine romance element to it, somewhat, not like heavily, at least in book 1. I have not read book 2 yet, but that kind of follows the society's perception of Galinda and Elphaba. And then I actually have 6 tropes. I forgot. I have 1 book for each of the next tropes. I'm sure I could come up with more, but I am trying to keep this somewhat condensed. And I also have a lot of recommendations for tomorrow's video. Not sure how to correctly or accurately describe this trope, but essentially someone you really trust or should be expected to trust betrays you. And for this, I'm choosing A River of Royal Blood. And this is following 2 sisters who are forced into a battle to the death for the right to rule next. And obviously sisters, you would expect to trust each other, and it gets so good. This is essentially, so Three Dark Crowns kind of follows that same vein. It's 3 triplet sisters have to fight to the death to obtain the crown. Also a really good series, so I guess we could put that here. But A River of Royal Blood is a little more on the action-y, actually following through side, whereas Three Dark Crowns is more so on the like romance and moral perception side, if that makes sense. And my last trope here for you is Opposites Attract Romance, and my recommendation for that is Book Lovers by Emily Henry. This is following 2 authors who are of opposite genres. We have our female author who is a female chick lit romance author, and then we have the male who is a kind of button-up literary author, and they're both in a writing slump and create this pact or bet that they will help each other write in the other's genre, and to help alleviate this reading slump. And so our literary author is taking the girl on these like hard-hitting case interviews, and then she's taking him on romantic dates to research. It's so cute. I love this book so much. So those are my book recommendations for if you like Wicked, because if you enjoyed any of these, or you think or agree that I chose the right ones, or if you have other options, or if you want to read any of these, please let me know down below. Stay tuned for tomorrow, which is my what books Elphaba and Glinda would read, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye friends!